Generally speaking, the phenomenon called knowing involves three separate phenomena or factors. They are the knower, the known, and the knowing. For knowing, all those three factors must be available. There must be a knower who knows something, and there is something that is known, subject to knowing, and there is the action called knowing. The relationship that gets formed between the knower and the known. In this sense, the knower and the known are two separate entities. The relationship between those entities or factors is the knowing, the phenomenon called knowing. Something mystic, something unique happens at the enlightenment. In the first sermon of the Buddha called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta says, at the enlightenment there arose knowing. The word used by the Buddha, Jnanam Udapadi. Jnanam is knowing. Udapadi means arising or getting awakened or getting manifested. For something to arise, it must be there already. For something to be awakened, it must be there already, hidden. Now, rising of the sun. At the rising of the sun appears, but before, the sun remains hidden. Similarly, when we get awakened, the world that we become aware is there, but the world remains unknown to us. We are unaware of the world in and around us while we are sleeping. Therefore, when we say Udapadi, there is a horizon, but what is known, the factor known at the enlightenment is called Nirvana. Nirvana is not manifested. It is not born at the enlightenment. It does not happen at the enlightenment. It is not done by somebody at the enlightenment. And it is not composed by somebody at the enlightenment. This is what is meant by the Buddha's utterance in the Tatya Nibbana Sutta, saying that the Nirvana, the phenomenon called Nirvana, is ajatam, abhutam, akatam, asankatam. Ajatam means it's not a phenomenon that gets born. There is no birth of Nirvana. Abhutam means it does not happen, it is not an event. Akatam is it is not something done by somebody. Asankatam means it is not a composition composed of things that are available. It means Nirvana is an eternal phenomena. unique phenomenon take place, get manifested in realizing the nirvana according to what the Buddha says in his first sermon called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. The unique phenomenon is in that the knowing, the knower and the known get amalgamated, get unified into one phenomenon. At enlightenment there was only knowing. There was no knower and no something known. With the known and the knowing as amalgamated, unified into one phenomenon. No two phenomena. There is only one phenomena, but it's that knowing. Jnanam Uddapadi. That is realization of nirvana. When you realize nirvana, you become one with the nirvana. And both amalgamated into one single phenomenon. That is why Reverend Buddhaghosa says, Atti Nibbhuti no Nibbhuto. That means there is a phenomenon called nirvana, but in that nirvana, in that phenomenon, there is no body, no self, no person, no individual who has achieved nirvana or who has attained nirvana or who has realized nirvana. That is what is meant by na nibbhuto, who has realized. As long as there is a separate individual, as long as there is individuality, a separate being, a separate person, no enlightenment is possible. Nirvana is beyond the self. And it also, as there is no self, it cannot be known by a self. What we call our self is a bundle of memories that go to form the idea called myself. I have a lot of memories that refer to myself. I myself was a small baby, small child. I was an adolescent. I was a youth. I was an adult. I got educated in such a college, such and such school, such and such a university. I worked in such and such a place. I got married to somebody. I have my village somewhere or my town somewhere. I was born somewhere. I have my country, my religion, my tradition, my parents and so on. Whatever that you call mine, go to form yourself. It's a bundle of memories. It's a bundle of mental images. Nirvana is not a mental image. It cannot be grasped as a mental image. It is not an object of the mind. Real nirvana is not an object of the mind. In Pali it is called animitta. Nirvana is not an object of the mind. Atakkavachara. The real nirvana cannot be grasped as an idea. We can form an idea of nirvana by listening to what others say about nirvana, by reading what others have written about nirvana. We can form an idea. That idea is a mental image, but it is not nirvana. That is why it is said, Atakavachara, Nirvana cannot be grasped as an idea. Then what happens? In realizing Nirvana, you become one with the Nirvana. That is what happened to the Buddha at its enlightenment, as it is revealed to the Thera Vakkali in the Vakkali Sutta. Buddha says, this physical body, which is a heap of filth, is not the Buddha. To see the Buddha, you have to see the Nirvana, and to see the Nirvana, you have to see the Buddha. That means Nirvana and Buddhahood are not two separate entities. They are like the two sides of the same coin. Where there is Nirvana, there is Buddhahood, an enlightened one. Where there is an enlightened one, there is Nirvana. One cannot get enlightened without realizing Nirvana. One who realizes Nirvana turns to be a Buddha, awakened one. Nirvana can be realized by awakening. Why? Nirvana is not outside us. It is hidden in us. That is the ultimate bottom of our own mind. When all the superficial factors of the mind are removed or set aside, there get awakened the enlightenment. Without a self, without an image. In the Drona Sutta, Buddha says, I cannot give an example to the state called Nirvana. But Nirvana can be realized. Vijnanam anidasana. That means the same thing as Jnanam Udapadi. Vijnana. There can be knowing of Nirvana, that is not by the brain, not as an idea formed by the brain. Brain contains a lot of mental images as memories. It is with those memories, those images, we start a thinking process of something. We can think of Nirvana, but our thoughts are not part and parcel of Nirvana. They are only ideas. As I mentioned to you, Nirvana is not an idea. Nirvana is nothing but your real self. But there is no self, there is no individuality. It is an eternal phenomena. It has no boundaries in space. It has no boundaries in time. Nirvana is a phenomenon beyond space and time. In space, there can be limits. There can be limit in height. There can be limit in breadth. There can be a limit in length. It is beyond those dimensions, length, breadth and height. They are the dimensions of the space that anything occupies in this universe. It is beyond spatial boundaries, beyond all boundaries. That is why in the Drona Sutta, Nirvana is described as Ananta, infinite, boundless. And Nirvana is beyond time. it is not time related. Everything in this universe is limited by time because they have a limited duration. Even the mighty universe has a limited duration. And every planet, every sun, every star, they have a limited duration of existence. Nirvana is beyond space and time, means Nirvana is everywhere at any time. That means we can see Nirvana here. Wherever we can call here, wherever we are, we can call wherever we are as here. Ehipassiko means it can be seen here. That is how the Nirvana is described in the Buddha's language. And at any moment that you exist, now, and any moment can be called when it is there now. Nirvana can be seen now at any moment. Any moment can be called now when it is really there. Sandittika means it can be seen now. Nirvana can be seen here and now. But although we use for expression seeing Nirvana, there is no seeing of Nirvana. There is Nirvana because to see there must be somebody to see. And there must be Nirvana separate from you. Nirvana is not separate from me because it is in you. That is why Buddha says, Buddha is Nirvana and Nirvana is Buddha. They are not two separate phenomena. Not two separate phenomena. There is one single phenomenon. When there is enlightenment, there is nirvana. When there is nirvana, there is enlightenment. That means when there is a Buddha, there is nirvana. When there is nirvana, there is a Buddha. There can be a Buddha without nirvana. Buddha means one who has realized nirvana. And there can be a nirvana without a Buddha because it is only a Buddha that can see nirvana, that can know nirvana. Jnanam Uddapadi. But that jnanam, that knowledge, is not the ideas that we have in our brain. That knowing is not an idea. It is an actual reality, which is there always. As I mentioned earlier, Anantam Akaliko. Beyond all space means anywhere in the space. Akaliko means at any time. It is not controlled, it is not limited by time and space. It is a boundless state. That means our actual nature, although our mind is limited, although our knowledge is limited, although our body is limited, the nirvana that can be awakened through that body and mind is unlimited, beyond all boundaries. Therefore, when you realize nirvana, you become boundless. Anantam and Akalika. That is why Buddha said, when people ask, are you living after Parinibbana, passing away? Buddha did not say yes. Buddha said no. That means, are you not living after parinirvana, final passing? No. There is no individual called Buddha at the enlightenment or at the nirvana. Ati nibbati, no nibbuto, as Reverend Buddha said. But you cannot say there is no Buddha, because Buddha means, as I mentioned earlier, nirvana. Nirvana and Buddha are the same. The Buddha at the final passing away turns into nirvana itself. For example, we can say it is like a drop of water that gets dropped into a mighty lake. When the drop of water is dropped into the mighty lake, you cannot find that drop of water anywhere in the lake. But you cannot say that water drop is not in the lake. It is everywhere in the lake. It has become part and parcel of the lake. Similarly, once we realize nirvana, we become part and parcel of the universe. It is wrong to say universe. Universe is limited by space. We become part and parcel of the boundless space and boundless time. That also actually wrong to say we are within the space and we are within the time. They are relative factors. Space is related to time, time is related to space. They are illusions according to modern science. Modern science says there is no time and space in a black hole. But when the black hole explodes by a big bang, then the time and space come into being according to scientists. But that after that big bang, the universe expands to a particular limit and stop expanding and then start contracting. That is what the scientists say. And turn back into a black hole. Then there is no time and space. We need time to travel in this space. That means time is related to space. But when there is no space, there is no time. And when there is no time, there is no space. That is what scientists say. Scientists say there is no time and space in a black hole. Similarly, knowing nirvana, jnanam uddapadi, means becoming timeless and spaceless, a state beyond all time and space. And that is the phenomena for which we cannot give an example. Vijnanam anidassana. One can realize it. There is sensation. Vijnana means once you get enlightened, the entire body turns into nirvana. That is why Buddha said in the Vakkala Sutta, Yo dhammam passati so mam passati. Yo dhammam passati so mam passati. When you realize nirvana, you can see me. When you see nirvana, you can realize, when you see me, you can realize nirvana. The Buddha and the nirvana are not two separate entities. Therefore, in knowing nirvana, when there is jnanam uddapadi, there is no separate entity that can be called the knower, and a separate entity that can be called the knowing, and a separate activity that can be called knowing. All the three as the three phenomena amalgamated into one phenomena. That is, the known and the knowing get amalgamated into a single phenomenon. The dualism vanishes. The separation between the knower and the known vanishes. There is a non-dual state. That is why it is called in Pali Advaita. Nirvana is Advaita. But the world that we experience is Dvaita. It's a dualistic world. In that, with regard to Nirvana, in a general term, there is a subject, object and predicate, as in grammar. The subject that knows Nirvana, the object that is called Nirvana, and the predicate or the activity called knowing Nirvana. But that is in the normal sense. That is in the worldly sense. In the spiritual sense, in the final attainment of Nirvana, the known, the knower, and the knowing turns into one single phenomenon. And that is referred to by the Buddha as Jnanam Uddapadi. There arose the realization of Nirvana without a realizer, where the realizer has become the Nirvana, the object, and where the Nirvana has become the realizer. Both have vanished and entirely new phenomenon crops up. That is why Buddha says, Pubbesu Anusitesu Dhammesu Chakkum Uddapadi. In the first sermon called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Pubbesu Anusitesu Dhammesu means a phenomenon that I have never heard before. Got known. There is a knowing of a phenomenon that was not heard of before, but there is only a knowing. No knower and no object that is known. Object, subject, object and predicate turn into one singular phenomenon at the enlightenment.